Now July the 16th, 2013 at 6 p.m. here in City Hall at 116 West Bridge Street, Granbury, Texas. We call the City Council to order. I'd like to, at this time, call upon Aaron Hefty, the Associate Pastor with the First Baptist Church, to lead us in our invocation, followed with the Pledge of Allegiance, and next the Pledge of the Texas flag. All rise, please.
Would you pray with me? Father, I thank you for today. God, I thank you for the last 3 days with all the rain that you've given us. Lord, you've poured out your blessings upon our land, and it's been awesome to see just the results of it, God. Tonight we come to you, and we ask that you would guide us and lead us with our decisions and with our choices that we make. And Father, I thank you for the leadership, God. I thank you for our mayor, God, and for the councilmen, God. I do ask that you would continue to lift up the family of Sergeant McLean, his wife and his kids, God. I pray that we would continue to provide for their needs, Lord. I also ask that you would be with Officer Davis, God, as he is recovering from his injuries, Lord. You are a faithful God, and you are one who is constantly pouring out to his and hers. And so, God, I just pray now that as we turn to you and as we turn to the matters at hand, God, that you would give us wisdom, discernment, Lord, and just thank you for this day. I pray these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Now the Texas flag. I'm sorry. To the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas flag.
Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Council, our first item we have tonight is our consent agenda, the approval of the minutes of the council meeting of July the 2nd, 2013. You've all had a chance to look at those in your packet. Are there any questions or discussions concerning the minutes of the July the 2nd, 2013 council meeting? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the council meeting of July the 2nd, 2013. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion by Councilman Allen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Councilman Perkle. Are there any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Those minutes are approved. We'll next move into the deliberation agenda, the first item being to consider and approve an ordinance amending Articles 3.03, 3.04, 3.06, 3.07, 3.11, 3.12, 3.14, 3.15, 3.20, 3.21 of the City of Granbury City Code of Ordinance as amended by adopting certain international codes related to building, plumbing, fire, mechanical, residential, and energy conservation. I'd like to at this time call upon Alva Cost to come up and enlighten us on these issues, if you would, Alva.
Yes, sir. What we're doing is right now we're under the 1997 code, which obviously it's, as we well know, it's 2013. So by what we're doing is moving to the international code as well. This basically puts us in line with all the other cities that's in the area, as far as all the way from the Metroplex, pretty much across the state of Texas. Basically what this does is it helps us, the engineers, it helps the architects, the electricians and everything, as far as go with a uniform code. And again, it has to be updated. We have to update these every 5 years. So you have to be within 5 years of the current plan, far as state and far as the regional as well. So this is what we've kind of done, and we've moved into this. And then again, I have some bullet points if y'all have any questions on that, as far as what we have, if you want me to go through a few of them. But the main one basically was, like I said, most of the electricians, plumbers, all the way through, they're accustomed to the 2009 international code, but now with the 2012 that came out, they are more accustomed to it. It just makes it a lot more user-friendly. It makes it easier on us as well when we do, when we go through, because again, our codes are all the way back to 1997, so it's kind of, and it's also the UBC is one of them, and the UPC as far as what we have currently. So this is kind of what we've done. So we've been working on this for quite a while now, compiling it. We also, we went through the city attorney to make sure he looked at everything to make sure everything was okay. As far as that goes as well. Stuart worked on it for quite a while with us. So, but anyways, that's what we have today. And so basically what we're asking for is to go ahead and approve the new ordinances, or the ordinance for the actual, for the building, the plumbing, fire, mechanical, residential, and the energy conservation that we currently are out of date.
Yeah, but we're presently, like you said, we're presently using these codes. They're just, we just need to make sure that that's what they say that we're using, right?
Yes, sir. We're actually, yes, we are using them. And again, by law, we have to use these, even though our, ordinance right now has the 97, but as far as the way it works, yes, we have to still use these. It just makes it a little bit easier when we're sitting down with them, when they're going through because a lot of them, what they do is they pull up our codes.
Right.
And when they pull it up off the internet and they're looking at the 97 codes, I think we mess with them pretty
So now,
good.
in essence, we'll be doing what it says we are doing. So
Yes, sir. Yes,
much, right?
exactly. Exactly. So we'll be doing it, and it'll actually be reading the same thing what we're actually doing.
Okay. Thank you, Alva. Council, is there any questions to Alva?
We're not changing the electrical code from what it is already today.
Technically, no, but far as we're going to go to the international is what we're going to, and it will be updated with the 2012 as before we were in the 1997. So we are changing some of it, obviously, because we're moving to the new code, which again we have to.
So it's going to cost the builders more money?
No, it will not.
So we're not changing the gauge of wire or anything like that?
No, sir. No,
Okay.
sir. And actually, a lot of this deals with energy conservation as well, as far as electrical and things like that, because actually it's got the energy conservation code that's going to be in this too. And again, if you could, think about the 97 compared to what we have now, the 2013 or 2012, it's a big difference as far as on the energy codes and the efficiencies of things and stuff like that. So again, we're just kind of basically putting it into writing where everybody can see it now.
But you're saying, well, we're already using this code already?
Technically, yes, sir.
So like if you build a new home and say it's a SEER 13 or whatever it is.
Yes, sir.
Did they change that?
No, the SEER 13 or above, basically, that's still in there,
Okay.
as far as that goes. But even in 1997, I don't think that was there. Matter of fact, I know it wasn't there at that
No,
point in
it
time. So I think back then you could have an 8 or a 9 and you're fine. But yeah, so things like that is what is actually in writing. Now, again, we've already been practicing this code already. We just haven't, I guess, formally adopted it, I guess is where we're at.
That's it, Mayor.
Council, any more?
Did this come through the committee? Don't we have a code committee? Say that it's come through them too or not?
No, sir, it did not. It did not. It just basically, it came through, actually, mine, Public Works, and through legal, and we kind of went with these. As far as the actual, as far as on these, we didn't have to go through like P&Z and things like that to do this.
Yeah, but
Well, I'm not saying P&Z, but don't we have a building code?
Code of order.
Buildings?
We have a building standards is what we have, but that wouldn't pertain to this.
But we got a committee, is what Mickey's saying, that there's a plumber, Bob White's on it, electrician, I forget who it is.
That's the building standards, yes, sir.
Okay, did you go through them?
No, sir, we did not go to the building standards.
I wish we had I think it would have given them a chance to, if they seen a real change, like I'm talking about questions, I don't even know what I'm asking, to be honest with you.
Well, most of them actually, as far as I can tell you from the people we've talked to on the electricians, that we're seeing on a day-to-day basis, the plumbers that we're seeing, the mechanical guys that we're seeing, all of them have been asking for this because we're basically behind the times. And again, like I said, when they get on the internet and they start pulling up our code of ordinances and they pull up the 97, they don't understand why we're doing it. And
So when they call, start griping, we'll say, Alva said y'all called.
yes, sir, you can do that.
So right now, Alva, the code enforcement, the department within our city that does the code enforcement, they are actually using the 2012. They're not using the 2097, right?
Yes,
Okay.
we are using it. But again, this is more of a formality to go to it. So yes, we're already doing it. It's just a matter of formality. Yes, sir.
Did you have a question?
I call for the question.
Sure. So I'll entertain a motion then at this time to consider and approve an ordinance amending these said articles. Council?
We would approve as presented.
Second. Motion by Councilman Parsons, and a second by by Councilman Perkle. Any more discussion? With that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Thank you.
Those ordinances amendment are approved. Our next item is to discuss the status of the Opera House redevelopment project and consider and approve any recommendations from the Opera House redevelopment committee. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and call, if you don't mind, Wayne, we're going to call Bill Scott up to the microphone. Now, Bill, remember what I told you about that microphone. Okay, all right.
Good evening, Bill Scott.
Introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about the status of the Opera House, if you would, please.
Yes, sir. Bill Scott, 908 South Sylvania, Fort Worth, Texas. We've lost 0 time this week due to the rain. We've been inside working under the roof. Our structural steel is erected under the roof. Excuse me. The interior portion of the structure is installed steel-wise. The wooden structure that goes on top of the steel is coming later this week. Our exterior structure is a combination of a light gauge system and a structural steel system. The light gauge is laying on the slab right now. It's going to start getting erected tomorrow. Our heavier structure, the structural steel, is coming in later this week and into next week. And we expect here in the next 2 weeks, we've got a structural steel building standing. We have a slab on metal deck on the second floor of the Stage House addition that's going to get worked into that schedule sometime. Our MEP above the ceiling at the roof structure is in really good shape. Our ductwork is about 60% complete inside the theater. Our plumbing is drainage-wise is about 80%. Water system supply is 0%. We've got the material on the job. Fire protection system is at the 50% mark. It's got water on the system and being pressure tested currently. We feel very good about where we're at. And we've got a nice couple of 3-week run here where we can get it dried in as quick as possible. Roof curbs are on the job. Our roofing submittal is in for review right now. And we're trying to get towards being in the dry as soon as possible to avoid, the fall rains. So we feel like we're in pretty good shape overall. We had a subcommittee meeting this week and got a lot of progress on that. Good meeting. We've got a few things to do out of that meeting, and we're in the process. So feel good about where we're at. Feel good about the next month of work.
Bill, council, any questions directed to Bill? Wayne, do you have some?
Well, just on the questions that came up in the Opera House meeting. We had meetings yesterday, and just to talk to the council. Now, one of the questions was how are we doing on the parking lot, and are we in sync? And I think we had a good meeting with Alva.
Great.
And I think we're in sync, and it's just a matter of going forward. Now, to clarify, there was some comment that maybe Bill Scott was interested in doing the parking lot, and he's not really interested in doing that.
Well,
He's going to be the manager, right?
we want to.
You need the people that could do it.
We're not an asphalt contractor. We are a concrete contractor, but we are used to the construction management role as your prime contractor out on site. We feel comfortable coordinating those scopes, and how we bid it and who bids it and how it gets awarded is fine.
I think the plan is the city's going to set it up.
The city's going to put it out public bidding, and that's fine. Yeah. We've got to get a schedule over to Alva and get the bid schedule coordinated with when we actually want to do the work. With the idea of being when we're done, everybody's done. Excuse me.
The goal is the parking lot is ready when the Opera House opens.
Yeah, opening night, somebody's parking in a brand new parking lot on opening night.
Parking in a brand new lot to go to the opening. That's the goal. And that's what we're focused on.
That's the goal.
The other thing is we had a meeting with Tony Toll in terms of the data invoice, and he actually found more data invoice after I talked to Tony, even more than what we were finding in the meeting. So the change is minor, but the major focus is to create the ability for future development where we have a, what do you call a intra Wi-Fi area, right? Is that what you call it? Because we think most everything is going to go to Wi-Fi anyhow. So we're creating more data voice such that it creates its own Wi-Fi system. And it was a matter of adding some more data voice outlets to be able to put those Wi-Fi structures in. So we feel real good about that. That will last us for 10 years. I thought Tony did a good job of bringing that forward and thinking further ahead. And so
Yes, sir.
and then met with Pete Callahan on TML, on the builder's insurance, the construction insurance.
Builder's risk. Yes, sir.
Builder's risk insurance. And TML really wasn't interested in insuring a contractor that reports to us. So they would rather they get their own. And so what can happen there, if you're not careful, TML can actually end up trying to settle with the builder at our expense, or they can get crossed with the city. And so they said they would rather not get into that business. But you're still, and you went to look for it.
Yes, sir. We have it out to 2 insurance companies for proposal. Yes, sir.
So
And we'll
that
bring
was
those
some of
forward
the
to
items that came forward in the upper house meeting. Those are being addressed.
Yes, sir.
We don't have builder's risk right now, Wayne?
Not for this moment, but see, he had not gone up yet, really, either. I mean, he was saying
It's all on grade right
everything's on the
now.
ground right now. And
Yeah,
so
the real risk is
the
here.
real risk is
in a
once it
week or
starts
so,
up. So
couple
we're going to
weeks.
have it before it starts up.
Well, we put the iron and stuff inside the building, I noticed, in the ceiling. That's up in the air.
Yeah, the elevator shaft's in too.
Yeah, elevator shaft. So we were just, it just hadn't gotten done. So, but now he's going to. Have you been able to talk to your chief?
I have. We should have something tomorrow and hopefully down here. Well, I say that, it's going to take a day or 2 for them to go to their underwriters and understand where we're at in the process, understand the time involved and the dollars involved. Basically, it's a builder's risk policy is based on time and dollar amount of contract.
Bill, could you update the audience a little bit too on the exterior rock work that we talked about, but also about pointing and cleaning the inside walls?
Well, the skin is a very interesting topic that we talked about yesterday. We're exploring some options to present to the council. It'll obviously go through the committee first, but we're trying to figure out a way to look at some options for the committee to consider on different kinds of skin, utilizing some of that, potentially utilizing more of the stone that came off the old building than we previously planned. The inside stonework is, you've got a real mix of various repointing work that's been done over the years on the inside of the structure. Just over there looking at it in a different light, and got some good pictures. We want to consider I guess a couple of different things. One is obviously leaving it as it is, the mortar, to show the history of the repointing work, all the work that's done on the structure. The other is to present to the subcommittee, here's your options. If you wanted it all to look, similar, you could paint it, we could repoint it, we could do dirty up some of the newer stuff to make it look like the old stuff. But an idea of several ideas to make the mortar consistent appearance to the finished product. And we're not through with that. There's several people that say several things of what they can and can't do. There's a sample that's been painted, and it looks pretty good. I think several guys have seen it, and what's ultimately accepted is we're trying to get as many options as we can to present to the subcommittee to show them what can be done.
Council, any more questions to Bill?
On the Opera House, not the Opera House, I'm sorry, the parking lot, wouldn't it be one of the last things that you'd want to do?
Well, if it was a normal building under our contract, we would basically start the site work when we finish the skin. You get all that elevation work out of the way, and those trades disappear. Then you start the site work right behind it. That's probably what needs to happen, although it is just probably, as we understand it, you're going to mill the parking lot, do minor dirt work and some stabilization added if you can't use the existing stabilization underneath the lot, and then just basically put a 2.5-inch course of D or B asphalt on the grade. That won't take that terribly long. It'll have to be striped and, handicap signs. And I'm sure there's some concrete curb and gutter and sidewalks to consider, but we haven't seen the design yet, but we don't expect that taking a too terribly long amount of time to do that work. So where we are from the skin, can we get rid of our trailer and turn it over to that other contractor and still accomplish what we're trying to accomplish? It's just a timing thing to consider, and we'll figure it out. We'll stick to our guy. We'll get rid of that trailer sooner or later and get our guy probably in a building somewhere so somebody can have that lot. It needs to be, excuse me. The ultimate goal is it's brand new and it's open for business, ready for open night. So how we do that is kind of a puzzle right now, but it'll get done.
We had one of our employees, I forget, I think it was Aaron, when they drawed up some drawings of the flower beds and planter boxes and stuff. I think that would be important to us to look at that before we do the, because we might want to run some irrigation lines out there before we hot top it, and where we can water our plants and our shrubs and stuff and bedding plants. But, if buses start coming in like they're saying they're going to, then we want something real pretty that when people drive in the back of there that they can look at. And
there's a real opportunity there.
Yes, and I think it's something that
great lot.
The committee ought to look at. There's companies that will give you a free drawing if you buy their supplies and stuff from them, wholesaler.
It's out of my contract, folks. My opinion is that you get a civil engineer to design it where you have many years of use on that asphalt parking lot, number one. And if there's some landscape and irrigation to do, then maybe they can do it in-house or sub it out to a local landscape architect or whatever. Go for the longevity of a good paving system is what I would recommend.
Thank you, Bill. Any more questions for Bill? Thank you. With that discussion, no action taken, we'll close that discussion item and we'll move on to our, we're now going to go into our executive session. I now declare that the Granbury City Council is convened into the open session and that all who are members are present except for our Mayor, Ricky Pratt. We're now going to closed session. Council will now reconvene into open session. We did take some action back there in the open session on our water issue. Okay, we're going to take action. No action taken. But I'd like to take a motion to direct Ken Ramirez to draft and file a letter seeking party status and a request to contest hearing on the ongoing hearing at the TCEQ with the BRA. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I've got a motion from Councilman Allen and a second by Councilman Couch. Any more discussion, Council? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. That motion is approved. Council, if there's no further discussion, the council meeting will be adjourned.